Welcome, Peter Call and Zachary Ziegler from Neutronics Refrigerant Analysis, and today we'd like to bring you a demonstration of the Mini ID R134a refrigerant analyzer. So this is the product, the Mini ID R134a. Includes the sample hose and the battery clips. So to operate this unit, we'll plug in the battery clips into the bottom of the unit. We have a spare set of battery clips here that are already plugged in, so that's all done. Zach will go ahead and connect this to the vehicle battery.
Always remember your gloves and glasses while working on AC systems.
That's exactly right. You're way ahead of me. So while Zach's connecting that,
we're good.
You're going to get a sequence of lights. We're going to press the next button. This means the sequence of lights means it's working. So Zach will press the next button and it will turn a solid light on for warm-up. When the solid light is on, that means it's doing something. If the light was flashing, it would be waiting for you. So while that's warming up, we want to mention that we just finished episode 2 of our tips and tricks, and we talked about filters and when to change the filter. This is the only refrigerant identifier model, well, this and the Mini 22, that do not use the white sample filter. This unit, along with our new series of analyzers, the RI 2012 series, use a flow restrictor. The flow restrictor is embedded here in the coupler, and this reduces the flow of refrigerant and stops or slows the migration of any oil far before it ever gets to the identifier. So that's why we don't have a white filter on these. This is a coupler that has a screw down to actuate the valve core inside of the fitting. There are some that were made that don't have the positive lock screw down, they just clip on, so yours may be slightly different depending on what vintage it is. Warm up takes about 60 to 90 seconds, I think.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah, and then it'll go into a calibration mode, and then we'll go into an analyzing mode. The device is designed to identify refrigerant if it is good 134A using only a pass or fail indication. If it's good 134A, it's 95% or better.
Correct.
If it's bad 134A, it's 95% or less. So,
we're about done on warm up.
Just about done warm up. There we go. We got a blinking calibration light. So Zach, why don't you go ahead through the calibration procedure and tell them what you're doing.
The calibration procedure is fairly simple. We hit the next button to activate calibration. While it's calibrating, you want to make sure you use the purge pump to pump out any refrigerant that could be in the system. So I'm going to calibrate. Approximately three pumps.
Yep, 3 pumps should do it. And all we're doing is just pushing out any residual refrigerant that may have been there from a prior test to make sure we get good clean air in the unit. Again, we've got a solid light for calibrating, so it's working, not waiting for us. If it were flashing, it would be waiting for us. Once calibration is done, it'll be a flashing light on the analyzing button, and then we'll go forward and connect the coupler. We don't want to connect the coupler now. We don't want to do that until we're ready to actually do the analysis of the refrigerant. And now we've got the analyzing light, so Zach will go ahead and connect that coupler to the low side service port. Screw down the actuator to engage, and we're ready to go. Push the next button, and now we're testing. Again, we're about 60 seconds or so to test. Vapor refrigerant, very small amount of vapor refrigerant is flowing out of the service port into the flow restrictor, through the hose, and into the analyzer, and it exhausts down here out of an exhaust of the analyzer. And we're only using just a couple of grams of refrigerant here. If you were to get a fault light, that means there's an error and you got to call us. It's in the operating manual how to reach us. If you get an excess air light, that means that there was just so much air in the system that you may get a pass with an excess air, which means there was too much air, but the only refrigerant that was there was good 134A, or you could get a fail with excess air. If you get a fail with excess air, that means that the refrigerant we sampled wasn't good 134A, and you should treat it as such. Evacuate it with a separate machine.
And it could also indicate that your restrictor is actually clogged and you need to replace that restrictor as well.
Right. So now we got a pass light, which with no excess air, which means that we have good 134A. We'll disconnect the coupler and we'll put the cap back on. I always like to give it the 3 pumps again, and that'll pump out any refrigerant that's sitting in there before I put it away. And we can disconnect our battery clips. And we're all done. Of course, always be careful with the battery clips. We want to make sure we always disconnect our positive first before our negative so that we don't have a bad ground. This is Peter Call from Neutronics Refrigerant Analysis with Zachary Ziegler. Thank you very much for your time and hope you have a great day.